I have the perfect classic brownie recipe. It's so gooey, so ooey, so chocolatey, you literally can't go wrong. We have our oven already set to 350 degrees. It's on convection bake, which means that the air is being circulated through the oven for an even bake. Everyone's oven is going to be a little bit different, so timing on how long the brownie is going to bake is going to be based on what you have. Next, I'm going to show you guys exactly how I line this 8x8 square cake pan. This is going to make sure that our brownies come out really easily. First, I cut a square a little bit larger than the base of the pan. The excess along the sides should be around the same height as the pan. Then I flip it over and I cut slits into it, kind of like a pinwheel. Not gonna lie, my mom spends hours watching Vietnamese soap operas and cutting almost all my parchments. She loves me. We're gonna get started on the wet ingredients. All the ingredients and the amounts are in the description, so whenever you guys are ready to make them, make sure you guys look those up. We're gonna be melting all the good stuff to make our brownies ooey and gooey in this metal bowl. The metal bowl is gonna go on top of a pot with some simmering water in it that's called a double boiler. That way we can watch it melt and we can make sure it's nice and even. You can also do this in the microwave using a microwave safe bowl. The only downside to this is you kind of have to pull it out every minute, mix it, make sure it's not burning, make sure the butter isn't exploding. So I just like the double boiler because that way you're not moving around so much and you get to watch everything melting together. 1 cup of butter, 1 1/4 cups of granulated white sugar, 1 1/2 cups semi-sweet chocolate chips, 2 teaspoons of instant coffee. Make sure you guys use oven mitts or a towel when handling your double boiler. The metal will get really hot. Then just move it around and watch it melt. Okay, now everything is melted together. So smooth, so decadent. We're gonna set this bowl aside as it is super hot right now. We don't want any scrambled eggs. So while it's cooling, we're gonna work on sifting our dry ingredients together and then beating our eggs. I almost always like to sift my dry ingredients because of humidity. Sometimes there's lumps, sometimes there's clumps, and this actually helps incorporate all the ingredients a little bit more together. I also like to sift it onto a giant piece of parchment. Don't throw this out, you can always reuse it. 1/2 cup of all-purpose white flour, 1/2 cup of cocoa, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt. Sift and push out all the lumps. For this particular recipe, my eggs are at room temperature. If you forget, not a big deal. However, it makes beating them together that much easier and it's gonna be so frothy and it'll make your brownies nice and smooth. 4 eggs at room temperature. Then beat it up till it's nice and frothy. Now we're gonna combine our eggs into our melted chocolate mixture. Use whatever tool you like. I switch back and forth from the spatula to the whisk, whatever you're comfortable with. Then we add our dry ingredients. I like to scrape the sides of the bowl and make sure I get all the way down to the bottom and fold it back on top, just to make sure everything is combined. Now we have a 1/3 cup of chocolate chips. I add most of it to our mixture, but then leave some to add on top before going in the oven. Time to transfer our beloved batter to the pan. Make sure you guys get every last drop in the pan. This is liquid chocolate gold. Push it around into all the corners of the pan. Make sure it's nice and even. Then I add the remaining chocolate chips on top. Our brownie is looking so good already. We're gonna pop it into the oven for 28 minutes. Super specific, but that's for our oven. 28 to 35 minutes is probably your bake range. You still want the center to be a little bit ooey, a little bit wet, because when it cools, it's gonna become a nice, dense brownie. So don't overcook it. We pop it into the oven at 350 degrees. We actually end up baking it for 35 minutes. There's lots of different reasons for this. We've been waiting about an hour and a half. The pan is definitely still warm, so our cuts aren't gonna be as clean, but we're not gonna wait any longer. Ooh. I eyeball cutting each side into 3 portions. That will give us 9 squares total. Super excited for you guys to make the perfect brownies. Make sure you guys comment below on how yours turn out. These turned out so good. They're so ooey, they're so gooey, they're so chocolatey. I don't know if you're a corner person, an edge person, if you like the crust. I am definitely an all middle center person. I think we're ready to try. This is so good. We're gonna plate one up with some classic vanilla ice cream. It's still warm. Oh yes. I think someone wants it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and eat cake. I am the Bake Boss.